There was a noticeable tension in the enormous hall as members from the Galactic Council chambers hummed with anxiety. The voices of hundreds of extraterrestrial species came together in a chorus of whispers. The devastation of Eden 7 had caused allegations to fly through the air like a hurricane, throwing the delicate equilibrium of the galaxy into chaos. It wasn't merely a colony, it was a representation of humanity's spread and their increasing influence in galactic politics. While the argument raged on, everyone in attendance was preoccupied with one topic. What would the humans do? The creatures, gathered around the round chamber, had witnessed firsthand the power of humanity when angered. Their history was one of unrelenting persistence and ingenuity. Eden's destruction would undoubtedly prompt a swift and terrible reaction, or so they thought. The whispers grew softer as human ambassador Cara Dale entered the room. Wearing a simple yet imposing outfit, she strode to the center podium. Her face was impassive. She moved deliberately, appearing calm to some, but to others she was a storm confined in a brittle vessel. The background chatter faded as she took her place. Cara was respected. Even among the curious, cautious council members, her keen intellect and unwavering resolve were known. She was a diplomat who thrived under pressure. Her firm, composed voice cut through the silence. "Respected council members," she began, "Eden 7 was more than just a colony. It was a symbol of collaboration, a combination of galactic resources and human ingenuity. Its destruction is not merely an attack on humanity, but on the very principles this council claims to uphold." A chorus of approval and a few murmurs of indignation rippled through the chamber. Cara took note of every reaction. Her tone hardened. "Humanity has upheld its obligations to this council. We have obeyed your laws, contributed to your initiatives, and supported your principles. And now we grieve the loss of a colony and entire settlement, destroyed without cause." The room fell quiet as she continued, her voice lowering to a dangerous calm. "So I must ask, why did you attack our home?" Pandemonium erupted. Representatives shouted over each other, some in outrage, others in confusion. The vagueness of her accusation sent shockwaves through the crowd. Eden 7 was a colony. Earth was humanity's home? What did she mean? Cara remained still, her gaze sweeping the room, calm amid the storm. Chancellor Vrax, a tall reptilian with glistening scales, eventually restored order. "Ambassador Dale," he said cautiously, "surely Eden 7 was not Earth. Are you suggesting that Earth itself was targeted?" Her voice was cold as stone. "Yes, Chancellor. That is exactly what I'm suggesting." The room froze. "Earth is extremely well defended," Vrax said, uneasy. "There have been no reports." "Reports can be silenced," Cara interrupted. "But truth has a way of surfacing." Her voice rose with restrained fury. "For years we've noted irregularities on Earth, ecosystems failing without cause, orbital defenses malfunctioning, crops essential to human survival targeted by engineered blights. And now Eden 7 destroyed the very colony meant to ensure our future." Murmurs turned into anxiety. Vrax attempted to maintain control. "These are serious allegations. Do you have proof?" Cara smiled a humorless, chilling smile. "You'll see it soon enough. But first, I want to know, why did you attack our home?" Silence returned, deeper and heavier than before. "Let me be clear," sighed, stepping closer. "Humanity does not tolerate such acts. We defend what is ours. If this council does not provide answers, we will find them ourselves. And when we do—" She let the threat hang. The chamber, once filled with noise, now held only dread. She turned and left the podium, her final words an echo in the minds of all present. "Look for the truth. You owe us that much." Behind closed doors, Cara convened with her team. A projection flickered to life, showing Earth's map, dotted with red markers. Each pinpointed an ecological anomaly, a failed defense system, or a sabotaged agricultural sector. "This isn't random," said one aide. "These events were timed, coordinated, engineered." "By whom?" asked another. Cara's jaw tightened. "The signatures point to the Varese and Herrick, old council factions. Their tech is all over our data." An image of a corrupted satellite launch filled the screen, another of diseased crops, another of seismic activity near military bunkers. "This was a long game," said the military officer. "A war of attrition, not weapons, sabotage, weakening Earth to make it fall from within." Later that day, Kara returned to the council. This time, with evidence, she stood tall as a projection filled the chamber. Maps, bioanalytics, tech readings. One after another, undeniable, this sabotage is not guesswork. It is data, it is design, it is intent. The council fell into chaos. Some delegates shouted in defense. Others were silent, eyes wide with fear. When the VAR's ambassador denied involvement, Kara responded with a raised brow. "Then explain why your technology is embedded in our soil." The room fell quiet again. "You used to fear what we might become. Now you've tried to stop it before we even arrived." Chancellor Vrax rose once more. "If this is true, the council must act." Kara shook her head. "Time is a luxury humanity no longer has. Eden 7 burns. Earth suffers. We will not wait." She turned to leave. "This isn't just about humanity. If the Herrick are involved, no one is safe. They don't conquer with armies. They infect from within." Her final words echoed like thunder. Humanity will no longer ask. "We demand truth, we demand justice, and if we do not get IT, we will take it." The council sat silent. The shadows on. The walls grew longer. The age of calm diplomacy had ended, and across the stars, the silence screamed with warning. Humanity had stopped pretending. "Regions." Her thoughts whirling through the potentialities, she said softly to herself, "They surrounded, but they're not broken. Whomever planned this will take action before we can." Their voice was controlled and incisive. "Force there?" "Hand." One of her aide's patients moved forward, his voice solemn. "Kara, the delegation has asked for a private meeting, and their ambassador insists they have vital information," she scowled. "Nod, set it up." "If they're interested, I'd like to hear how in-depth the meeting was." The VAR's ambassador was a modest, inconspicuous figure, placed in a sterile, neutral room far from the public eye. As Kara entered, its speech was a succession of nervously shifting mandibles and translucent skin. Ambassador Dale, the AI in the room, interpreted. The high-pitched clicks with ease. "I am at great risk. There are things you need to know. Carol, if you're here to confess, get started. If you're just here to stall, I'm leaving." The VAR's ambassador flinched, but persisted. "As much as you, the Herrick, are in charge of this game, the pawns have been moved." Kara's eyes hardened as the name hit her like a thunderclap. Yet, she listened. The ambassador clarified. "Allowing the aliens to operate from the shadows is what gives them power. Not their fleets, their ability to control others, to manipulate. S-Division's flaws and internal civilization would disintegrate by the time the truth was known. It's too late if someone discovers their hand was in it." Kara folded her arms. "And you've been helping them?" The VAR's ambassador hesitated. Its mandibles twitched. "But our species had no other option. We depend on the Huron. Act to survive. They give us resources, technology, and protection, but at a price. We were asked to keep quiet. Doing so meant complicity in their extinction." Kara's voice pierced the quiet like a blade. "And what was their endgame? With humanity? To keep you weak, divided." The ambassador acknowledged. "Your flexibility. It scares them, because they can't control your ability to come together in the face of danger. The fall of Eden 7 was a warning, a display of might, to keep you in line. Why tell me this now?" Kara's composure didn't falter. "What has changed?" The ambassador's gaze dropped. "They've overreached. The Huron Act intends to intensify. They're afraid. If you do nothing, the council may turn against them. They won't be able to use humanity as a unifying force anymore." The crowd froze at the suggestion. "Earth is uninhabitable." Kara's jaw tensed. "Do you possess evidence?" The VAR's ambassador developed a small gadget and carefully placed it on the table. A hologram flashed to life, intercepted communications. The voices of Herrick operators were serene, impersonal, They spoke of biosphere collapse and orbital blockade. The ambassador whispered, "This is what they intend. They will show themselves if you face them. But be advised, they thrive in turmoil. They do not fear war." Shortly after, Kara and her crew came to terms with it. The Herrick weren't just manipulators, they were strategists. They planned humanity's downfall using subtlety and precision. It would be risky to expose them, but disastrous to allow them to continue. Kara spoke firmly. We must expose them to more than just the Council. If we can make their actions indisputable to the galaxy, one of her counselors hesitated. Force the Council to act, she snapped. If they side with the Herrick, humanity suffers. But if we stand alone, we'll be prepared. Kara took the floor once more. The council rooms were packed. She assumed a dominant stance and began, "The delegation gave us resources and proof. The Herrick have been planning these incidents using the shadows, not just against us, but against countless civilizations." She activated the holographic display. The room fell into silence as intercepted communications filled the air. The extraterrestrial sounds reverberated. No misunderstanding. Only truth. Kara's voice rang out. The Herrick have been playing the galaxy like a game board. Division and fear are their weapons. But unity? Unity terrifies them. There was a disturbance in the chamber. Some demanded action. Others questioned the evidence. Then the lights went down. A calm, measured voice filled the room. "Ambassador Dale," it said, "your defiance is futile." The Herrick representative appeared, a shimmering, cloaked figure, alien and chilling. "Chaos is the natural order of things, unity an illusion. Humanity's ambition is a threat to the universe. Your balance is misery disguised as order." Kara didn't flinch. "You mistake our strength. We fight for